Hi, welcome. Thank you for tuning in today and welcome to the today's session. Today we're going to talk about what is the important of things would you do daily, day in and day out. And many times you see there is kind of a lot of disappointment, resentment, and people are talking about, oh yeah, someone laid off, and I gave my blood for this company for a couple of years, and I'm sure if you're mature enough to understand living in this actual and real world, not when you're under the nest of your parents, but when you really go out in the world and explore yourself. And unfortunately, fortunately, and this is how the world works. So, but having said that, you know, there are two things that you need to understand that everything you do counts, matters. Yes, there are times you're going to lose opportunities. I mean, nobody predicted Corona is going to hit in 2019 and it is continuing in 2020. There are millions of people who lost a job, millions of people who, not getting salaries even though they're working, someone getting 30%, 50%, 40%, whatever it could be. But this all comes back for us to think. You don't need to think about the world. It's as good as, you know, get to know and see what's happening around you is the most important critical thing because it is really affecting your life. Because of Corona, your life is affected. If you really, and only it will be affected if you're really not sound in your finances. Period. And it's simple as that. Now we have all livings taken care, and you have a place to stay. You have enough for say another 10 years to 15 years or 20 years finances. It doesn't matter how bad the economy may turn out. Would you be really worried, other than the basic precautions you should be taking in a corona? Would you be really worried about, that your life is in a miserable because you don't have, because you have everything at your disposal. There's enough money, enough cash to survive the rest of your life. And yeah, the situation came, and probably you cannot travel the way you used to travel, or maybe you have restrictions, when you go out and so on and so forth because of, for everybody's safety and so on and so forth. But what does it tell you is that you have to take a responsibility. And there are many people who lost their jobs, who got laid off, who's not really, thought about the finances much earlier whenever they started. And they're going to have a tough times because if you living paycheck to paycheck based on your monthly income you generate and spend whatever you make and take more if you're necessary through the credit cards or different forms. Obviously, this is going to be a very tough time, but you really need to get back yourself and analyze where do you stand, where do you want to take yourself if the same thing happens in 10 years from now in a different form. Or you be able to say the same thing over and again. You gave your blood and sweat to the company, and then company send you home. Businesses works just like that. It's end of the day profit and loss. There are some great companies, good companies. Some are, just to looking at the bottom numbers. And it's never that if you are running a business of say pretty much 10 employees, and even though you're a big company, great company, you have enough reserves, say for example another 2 years, and you still don't make money in coming 2 years, what are the odds of you going to keep the business and keep the employees at the cost of your living? So when it comes to this reality checks, and it's hard, but the reality remains reality. It cannot be other forms. So when the decisions has to take in a different forms, and pretty much people never have any emotions, though you can be very emotional, so on and so forth. It can happen to anyone. It can happen to me. It can happen to anyone across the globe. But ultimately, it comes to your life and how you can see yourself moving forward if you're in a difficult situation. Or else, say for example, in a year from now, everything gets to normal, which I hope definitely there is always a light ahead of the tunnel, not the train which is coming against you. But yeah, hey, let's be positive, optimistic. But what you should be doing is that analyzing yourself. Where do I stand? What are my expenses? You know, how many people are dependent on me, and what do I need to take if this happens 10 years from now? What are the actions I need to take? If I make, say, only $1,000 a month, am I saving something? Am I putting in the right instruments? I'm doing something for future? It's not about what you make. I did my financial series of education where I clearly made it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And when I say what you keep $100 in under your pillow for the rest of your 10 years. It just remains as $100. But if you put that even for the 10% of interest or 12% of interest of many instruments which is available across, you just need to educate yourself. That can give you some returns end of the 10 years. So simple things, the rules are everywhere. It's all about your discipline. What do you want to see? It's okay to feel disappointed, and when you have a lot of responsibilities, and when you see road ahead is really seems blurry, and things that we don't know what's going to happen. We might get job, we might not get job, but at the end of the day, unless until you decide your life or fine tune your life, maybe you're just making $100 a month, but keeping that $1 with you in your pocket in a right instrument can become that $1 becomes something else, maybe $1.50, maybe $2, but still it becomes something. So it's not about what you make, it's what you keep makes all the difference. So never have you should have those emotions. Yes, you did give your blood, sweat, everything to the company, but at the same time, they were paying you as well. End of the day, I don't think that you work for free for the last 10 years. So you should be grateful for that. At least you had a good living or good, decent living where you could take care of your friends and families around you. Whatever the forms you can, it doesn't matter which positions you might be holding. So every positions, everything what you do matters, but at the same time, it's not the dead end. But in case if you're really in a tough time or difficult times, do go through, do take analysis. What is your income? What is your expenses? What are your current debts? What are the unknown expenses you might be just using the credit card and using it? End of the day, what you make and what are the expenses should be always below your means, below what you make. Over a period of time, if you have every month $100 debt, it increases a lot of debt over a period of time. And then what is the debt means? Like when you have a credit card, and if you skip any credit card bills, the interests are going to be skyrocket, and then end of the day, what you make is not going to be enough to cover the mistakes what you did in the past. So you have to live always you below your means. It doesn't mean that you cannot aspire for the big things. Aspire, but then always try to shoot for the bigger goals, bigger ambitions in your life. And then when you increase again, always keep the simple principles. What you make, you need to keep. Not everything. At least, if someone cannot say 20% of what you make, it doesn't matter even if you're making it $10 a month. If you cannot keep $2 out of $10, when you make $1 million, you're not going to save, $200,000 in your pocket. So it's not about like, okay, $2 doesn't make any difference. The percentages work exactly the same. You put $1, you have a 20% of increase on $1, so you're gonna get 20%. You have $1 million, you keep 20% of your in the right instruments. If it is 12% increase, it's going to be according to that. So it's not about the number. So it's a small, it's not going to work. The small, big, medium works exactly the same. It's the end of the day, it's percentages. So how much you want to keep, what do you want to keep, and the right instruments. But at the same time, I want you to understand what is inflation. A simple example in a blind man can understand is that how much 12 eggs you used to buy 10 years ago and what are you paying today. And it's not the same what you're going to pay 10 years from now. So you paid, say, $1 10 years ago for 12 eggs, and you're paying $10 today. What happened to that $9? Is something that you need to ask. So that you need to educate yourself. What is inflation? How does it work? And if you're paying $10 for the eggs today, 10 years from now, pretty much we're going to pay the $20 or $25. I'm just giving an example. I don't know exactly what are the prices. I'm just giving an example. The eggs number out of 1, 2, 3, 4 to 12 remains the same, but you're paying more. That means something is happening in between these years to the cash, which you need to ask yourself, what is this? What is inflation? If you understand that, and what are the the expenses, present expenses, what you have today, and 10 years from now, how much it can go beyond is something that you need to ask. The answers will come to you. So either you need to double up every 4 or 5 years whatever you make, or else whatever you make, you need to keep something in your pocket for you to gain or see, or at least have a decent life in the event if anything such coronas can happen. If it happened today, nobody would ever expect that this would hit. Unfortunately, it's here, and then we need to deal with it. What happens something else from 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now? Are you prepared for it? Whatever the mess you are in, make sure that you review everything, and I hope that helps for you to streamline your life and put a little bit of plan, one step ahead of you, and take one step at a time. And I'm sure you will have wonderful opportunities coming in front of you, because God gives you the opportunities, and God gives you the money also, how much you can handle. So that really, if really it turns out to be that you are in the right track on the knowledge and resources, whatever you have, put it in the right place, probably you might have wonderful opportunities knocking your door. Stay well, stay blessed, be good to good influence the people around you. Thank you so much, and thanks for watching, and see you soon. Thanks.